Welcome back to Sonia Space. Today is a special episode because it's my birthday. I am officially 35, and honestly, it's unbelievable, but I love where I'm at right now. I love being in my 30s. I feel like being in your 20s, you're always afraid of going into your 30s, but I can promise you and I can assure you it always gets better. And for today's episode, I want to reflect on what it really means to step into this next chapter and talk about the real, honest, and beautiful parts of where I'm at right now and what it's like to be 35, right? And talk about my experiences that I've been through that maybe I've not talked about, but the things that I've learned up until this point. And of course, there's more to learn, there's more to experience, but I can assure you the main takeaway from being 35 and what I've really incorporated into my life is that I'm very intentional now. I'm very intentional and I try to be very mindful of everything I do. Making this episode, recording this episode is very mindful and intentional of me. Starting a podcast series was very intentional. The people that I surround myself with, very intentional. How I spend my free time is very intentional. And I'm learning to be more and more intentional of my life. I love where I'm at right now, and I know it is only going to get better. So I want to talk about where I'm at right now and what I've learned so far being 35 and the advice that I would give somebody who's reaching 35 or going into their 30s. Every year, I feel like around my birthday, I do a little bit of like some sort of reflection to see where I've been and who I've become and the changes I've made in my life and the things that I've done in my life that I told myself I would do when I was 25. And now that I'm 35, I'm like, I really got to do a lot of things that I wanted to do when I was 25. I've done most of the things and even more. It's a journey that you continue on taking to accomplish and do things that you really want to do, but also be mindful of being in the present. Like really embrace the present, take in the present moment and spending time with your loved ones, taking care of your health. I feel like being 35, I've really come to that realization. I've become more self-aware and tuning into not only my body, but my mind, my spirit, and my soul. I am coming to be a little more grounded. I'm more comfortable with saying no to things or not showing up in places where I don't really want to be. I'm being more mindful and intentional of bringing things into my life that I find true joy in, things that bring me a lot of joy. So there's a lot of this sense of calm confidence that comes into your life when you're 35. And it's not because you have everything figured out, but because you have experienced enough to understand what it takes to get to this point and know that there's more to come. I have honest reflections about what has shaped me personally leading up to being 35. I would say that I have really surprised myself and the things that I'm capable of. And this is not me being cocky. It's, sometimes you have to be proud of yourself too, because a lot of times I've also been really hard on myself. You can be hard on yourself to a certain degree, but not to the point where it brings you down. But you also have to uplift yourself as well, right? You shouldn't be seeking external validation to make you feel a certain way. You should be seeking that internal validation and tell yourself, hey, like, I'm proud of you. Good job for doing that. You've come so far. And again, it's not about being cocky. It's about being proud of yourself, understanding yourself, and being kind to yourself. And I've learned that I've truly have been able to impress myself and to see how far I've come. I was able to start a podcast series that I stuck with. I started in August of 2023, and I feel like my podcast has evolved. Like I've met some great people on my podcast series. I've brought some great guests on my show. I've learned so much about the content creation space, entrepreneurship space, where you're able to do everything for yourself. It kind of puts you in a position of you really have to do everything on your own, right? You really have to show up for yourself, and it teaches you discipline, and it teaches you consistency and constantly showing up. And that comes with determination. But what I really learned about myself is that, look, I started something and I'm going to continue to do it is because I have fun doing it. I truly do enjoy podcasting. And don't get me wrong, life comes in the way. I became a mom recently. There's like other factors in my life that come in the way to where it interrupts my podcast growth, but I just take baby steps. But I've learned that if you want to do something in life, you gotta enjoy doing it. And when you enjoy doing things and you have fun doing those things, that's the best thing that can come out of a hobby, a business, or whatever you do. Don't do it just for other people, for external validation, or to show that you can do something. Do it because you genuinely enjoy doing something and you're having fun with it. I think that's very important. I started doing something I genuinely enjoy. This is a creative outlet for me that I've stuck by. So I feel like that's one thing that I've learned is that when I show up for the things that I genuinely want to do with love, with passion, with dedication, with determination, it will teach me so much about myself, but also bring me true joy. Another thing that I've learned is your health is so important. And when you're in your 20s, you don't realize how important your health is until you get to your 30s, because obviously as you age, you realize your body doesn't work as well as it did. Like you tend to want to sleep earlier, you want to take more time resting, but then you also have to make sure you're putting in that time to take care of your body as well, right? Resting, working out, eating healthy. And don't get me wrong, I still struggle with these things, like especially when it comes to food. I feel like I've learned over the last couple of years that I've always had a really bad relationship with food. And it took me this long to realize that I would stress eat a lot or eat out of boredom. And I've been doing that most of my life, but I've come to learn that this is something that I need to work on. So you really do focus on your health, not from a physical health perspective, but like from an emotional, mental health perspective as well. And you learn these lessons of health being a very important piece of your life, and you must do everything it takes to make sure that you stay healthy. I don't know if you've listened to my episode about postpartum preeclampsia, but that was a major slap to my face. It was a major reality check for me. I never had health problems in my life, and I got to a point where I had gained so much weight from my pregnancy, and to the point where I had postpartum preeclampsia that I had to end up in the hospital. Point being is that my health took a major turn, and I realized, no, I want to make sure I live a healthy and good life for the people around me, for my daughter, for myself. And I started taking my health very seriously. Like, again, I'm still working on it, but I feel like I'm definitely taking it more serious than I used to. So being really mindful of your health and what your body needs is very important. The other thing I've learned is that success looks very different to me now. And what do I mean by that? I think when you're younger, right out of college or whatever, your achievements and how you've reached success should come with a medal, with a trophy for everyone to see. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think working hard is one thing, but making sure you're working hard for the things that you truly enjoy doing, not that you're just working hard just to work hard to show or prove other people. And I feel like I can be a perfectionist. Every job that I've worked at, I was a very hard worker. I would overdo myself. I would oversell myself, but then I realized that I wasn't in alignment. I don't have to prove anything to anyone, and it's less about being busy and more about being fulfilled. For me, financial freedom is important. For me, spending time with my family and traveling is very important. I want to be able to get up and go travel someplace or do something. Financial freedom is important to me, and I will work my way around to make sure that that is achievable for me. And it's more about me being happy with where I'm at and feeling fulfilled and finding joy in the things I like doing than just being a hard worker just to be a hard worker. And I want to make sure that I'm showing up for myself and the people I love. So success starts to look very different. Like I would say my late 20s, early 30s, where even like the corporate jobs that I worked for, I feel like I'm really good at what I did or what I've done with my jobs, but it's not like it's my passion. It's not like it's really bringing me joy. It's just I'm just good at what I've done and good at what I do. But once I started my podcast series, I do feel like I'm good at what I do here as well, but it also brings me joy. I'm always thinking of ideas or things to do. And I've learned that I love building connections with other people. I love making new friends. I feel like this world is too damn small to be around the same people, to do the same things. Like this world is so big. I'm a very firm believer of building connections and learning from others. I find true joy in that. And I've learned that about myself. So I found that through podcasting, from being a content creator and having guests on my shows. Like I've had entrepreneurs, I've had authors, I've had other podcasters from around the world. And that makes me happy because I feel like I was able to learn from other people and have them be a part of my show. And the show is being ever evolving for me. So another thing that I have learned now being 35 is that standing up for what you truly believe in. I feel like my values have changed a lot over the last, I would say, 5 years. And I feel like the things that I grew up with, things that were instilled in me are no longer there. I feel like I get to make my own decisions of the type of lifestyle that I want, the types of values that I have, what I want to instill into my daughter, at least expose her to. I have learned to stand up for what I believe in, and it's no one's business at all. And I want to be in true alignment to myself. Like I don't want to live a life just for somebody. I want to live a life true to myself. And I think I've made that very clear to the people around me that are close to me. And they've continued to stay close to me for that reason, because I want to stay in alignment to myself. So I feel like standing firm in what you believe in is very important, and not to live a life of others, right? Like I decided that I've actively made decisions for myself to live the life that I want. Like I have married someone outside of my culture because I honestly really struggle with my Pakistani culture. And there's a lot of things that I don't agree with or align with, and that I decided and I told myself that, I would find somebody that is either in the same alignment as me or somebody from outside of this culture, because I don't want my future generations having to deal with this generational trauma. I want to be the one to break that barrier for my future generations. So I was very firm about who I wanted to marry. I've been very firm about my lifestyle. I've also been very mindful of the people that I keep around, and that includes friendships. I feel like I've come to the point where I have removed some friends from my life, and I'm very happy about that decision, because not that like I hate anybody or resent anybody. It's nothing like that. It's just I feel like I don't have space for people who are not in alignment with me and people that don't bring value to my life. And I can assure you and I can tell you that history does not mean anything. And I don't want to have friends out of convenience just to say I have friends. I don't want to have people around me just because I've known them for 10 years, 20 years. I have actively made the decision of only keeping people in my life that actually make me feel good. I feel like I've spent too much time around people, relationships where they did not make me feel good. They made me feel insecure. They brought me down. And I've had to learn so much, especially the culture that I grew up in. We grew up around a lot of toxicity and a lot of this toxic culture. And it's really hard to do the therapy and unlearn those traits and those patterns. And I've had to take my time to do that. And I've learned that if there's other people around my circle that are doing that, I will distance myself from them. I have been very intentional and mindful about the people that I keep in my life. I only want to keep people in my life that are self-aware, that can hold themselves accountable, that can show up for me just like I show up for them. I don't want to be friends with people or have people around me just out of convenience, because to me, that lacks a lot of value. I look for people who have values that I admire. And so I feel like I've definitely brought people into my life, or have kept people in my life that do bring those values and our values align, and I'm very happy where I'm at with my friendships. As you get older, you have to make those decisions for yourself, because the people that you keep around, your environment, can take an emotional toll on you. Really can. And that has happened to me for some time. And I don't want that for myself anymore. I want to make sure that I'm not working in a place that is toxic. I'm not in a setting where it's toxic. I want to make sure everything is intentional and everything is out of love and happiness and joy, because you know what? You only have one freaking life. I'm not going to waste my time. So quality and depth in friendships and relationships is very important to me. And I have love for everyone around me, but I'm also very mindful and intentional of the types of people that I want to keep in my life. The last thing I would say, that having a peace of mind is so important. My peace matters over everything. And that doesn't mean, I think we are in this day and age where we've taken self-care a little too far to the point that we forget about our community. I think there should be a good balance of taking care of yourself, but also showing up for the people that you love, right? Like, you're not pushing away people that genuinely love you and care about you. You're also there for the people who love you. It should be a good balance of taking care of yourself, but also showing up for the people that love you and that you love, right? It's a give and take world. We're social creatures as human beings, and we crave connection and we crave living in a society, but living in a society that fulfills us, right? So I do think that you can also get a sense of peace from people that bring you peace and joy. So you want to protect your peace at all costs. And being a mother and having a daughter has also helped me realize that you actually learn to filter out things, because you obviously want to prioritize your family. Especially being a mother, you want to put your child and your husband first, right? And then you realize, okay, you end up being very selective about everything else around you, the types of people you want to bring into your life, the things that you want to do in your life. You learn to prioritize what is important in your life and what's not. And I know that other mothers can relate to this as well. So peace is really important, in having a peaceful life and a peaceful family, and deterring from chaos. I cannot be in a chaotic environment. And if I do end up being around any type of chaos, you will see me remove myself from the equation. I will not be there as much, because I want to only be around people, situations, and things that bring me true peace and joy. So I'm leaving behind the people pleasing. I'm not going to be a people pleaser anymore. I don't care what other people think. I don't care that they're talking about me. I don't care about any of these things. I only care about the people that I care about. I'm very much to myself, and I want to focus on myself. I want to make sure that I am not shrinking myself to make other people comfortable. I want to make sure I'm being there for myself emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and creatively for myself. I want to make sure that I don't get into too much overthinking and go with the flow of life. And I also have learned that you don't have to have everything figured out. I've learned that you can learn as you go. And there are more important things to life than career success. At least for me, the most important thing to me is my health and my family. And peace of mind is very, very important. And for you to have that, you have to maybe shift your environment a little bit for it to feed into your life, the type of life that you want. And moving forward, I want to go into a space with self-respect, go into a space of, again, being intentional, going into the space of being more soft and being more mindful, and going and doing things that bring me joy. I told myself in my late 20s that I wanted to start traveling the world. I told myself I want to visit all these national parks. I've visited so many national parks in the US, and I want to continue to do so. I've told myself that I want to go see these artists, these music artists, because I love concerts. I love music, and I'm doing that. I'm doing the things that I want to do, and I make sure that I am able to do those things because I made my life that way, to make sure that no one can stop me from doing the things that I want to do. So I built and created a life for myself that I truly enjoy. I'm also a very firm believer of that you have full control of your life. I don't believe in having a victim mindset. I feel like, okay, if something's not working out for me, why is it not working out for me? Let me find ways for it to work for me, because I'm not going to live the rest of my life appeasing other people or pleasing other people, or the life of what other people want of me or my parents want of me. I don't want that life. I want a life of true peace, happiness, and joy. And I find a lot of peace with that. And when you work towards the life that you want, and I will continue to do so, you're also setting a good example for the people around you. And especially my number one priority is my daughter, Raya. I want to make sure that I'm a mother that not only shows up for her, but shows up for myself. So when I know when she grows up, she can be surrounded by this type of mindset and be willing to do the things that she wants to do and love, not because I have certain expectations of her. I just want her to be happy. So as a mother now, I think it's very important to lead by example. You don't just tell your kids to do something and they're going to do it. They are going to be led by example. And I think that's very important. Again, I am choosing to celebrate the person that I've become and that I'm becoming. That is my birthday reflection. 35 feels like clarity, alignment, and stepping into a chapter where I know myself deeply and wanting to live in alignment and being able to find joy and being able to honor myself completely. And for those of you that are listening that are in your late 20s, 30s, it doesn't matter what age you're in. I hope it reminds you that there's, again, no timeline for growth and there's no rule book to life. And you will never have it all together. We're all just evolving and learning and going at our own pace. And I feel like for me, it took the last 5 years for me to do a lot of self-reflection and to really, hone in and figure out my needs and wants and my negotiables and non-negotiables. And, for some that can come early, for some that can come later, but you have to be willing to put in the work to build the life that you want. So we're all blooming at our own pace. So thank you for spending my birthday with me. Here's to 35, and may it be the year of peace, purpose, and expansion. Until next time, thank you for listening.
Thank you so much for listening in today. I am so grateful for all the support and feedback I've been getting. Don't forget to follow and subscribe to Sonia Space and follow me on Instagram for sneak peeks on upcoming episodes as well as other inspirational content. I hope your day goes well and I've left you feeling inspired. Bye-bye.